Join me as I take the train from Busan back to Seoul for round 2 of my great adventures there. I'm not sure what this was, but it was delicious, and I was the only woman eating there by myself. I stayed at the Moxy Hotel in Insadong, loved the location, and here's the rooftop, which was really pleasant as well. I'm now at one of the other main palaces back in Seoul, South Korea, and I paid $2.24 to enter. I love the low admission fees here. It's great. And yesterday I had Korean makeup done, which was really fun. I learned that Korean women are beautiful. They use a lot more moisturizing products before putting on foundation and such, and I'm guessing that is what gives that lovely dewy look. And sunblock is also an important element of their daily makeup routine. So something to keep in mind for you ladies out there that are loving Korean skin and curious about Korean skincare. Still love seeing everyone dressed in their hanbok, and I'm going to be dressing up myself later this week. Here's a look around the palace. South Korea has been a very interesting country for me in many ways. You may remember from my first video in Seoul, I had a little bit of a tough time adjusting. Coming from Malaysia, it was night and day in terms of weather, culture, people. I also really noticed that I stand out as a single person, and everybody's in couples or with friends, and as a single person in South Korea, sometimes you feel it, you notice it, in terms of there are certain restaurants you can't eat at because the menu's only for 2 people. There are just situations where it seems like they're waiting for you to be with someone. That being said, I think things started to shift for me that towards the last day of my first week in Seoul, and then I flew down to Jeju Island and absolutely loved it. And now that I'm back, I went to Busan, now that I'm back in Seoul, I feel like I'm more accustomed to the culture and how things work. And that in turn has allowed me to also be more me. And last night I had dinner and I there's a lovely young couple next to me. I started talking to them. They were absolutely lovely. They spoke great English. They told me some places I should go while I'm still in Seoul. So I think I just had a big adjustment period, and now that I have adjusted a lot, and I'm sure there's more to go, I actually really, really like South Korea a lot. One of the things I love about these palaces and walking through these huge gardens is, of all the places I've been in the world where, they all have a Japanese or Asian garden, and it's this small little area. And this is like if the Asian garden was everywhere. So it's just beautiful. And it feels a little bit, right now I feel almost like if I were in Central Park, but Central Park were Asian. This is what it would look like. It's just stunning. thing to note is the tour is a great way to get some obviously historical perspective and information, but then you're in a big tour group. By not being in it, I get to be in these places by myself. I get much better pictures. Now you do get time alone in the garden after the tour, so you'll have that anyway, but just bear in mind that the best picture taking is when you're walking on your own, not when you're in the group. This is the secret garden, and usually you can only come in here with a tour, which you can hear over there, the English-speaking tour I was on, but because it's a special time of year, apparently you can also go through the garden on your own. So I've decided to do that as I have to rush off to another appointment afterwards. Here's a little walkthrough of Seoul Forest, a delightful way to spend a springtime morning. So this was one of the cooler cups of coffee I've ever had. As you can see, they have a brewing process that involves hot sand and boiling it and then letting it cool and boiling it again, and it was delicious. Another great activity was exploring a bit of Seoul with a Seoul greeter, and he took me to Lotte World and the lake and some other great locations. Wow. Oh. Oh. Train, okay.
Just a tram, like.
Oh, there it goes again. Oh my goodness.
Video clip on YouTube.
Ah. Okay. So they're safe. Wow. This is a really cool movie theater. You can, I guess they do premieres here and you sit on the steps and watch the movie. I don't know, just looked really cool. So a quick subway ride away, I went to one of the markets known for clothing. You can't come to Seoul without going to Gwangjang Market, where you'll find a very interesting array of food for very low prices, and I highly recommend a trip there. did it. Rented a hanbok, got a photo shoot, and now I am just enjoying a quick walk in my hanbok around the palace. Queen for a moment. I am now in the actual castle. This is a really fun experience. You can either rent a hanbok for an hour or two, you can get a photo shoot, you can just enjoy walking around. The sky's the limit, and it's just beautiful. If you're wondering how to rent the hanbok, there are hanbok rentals all over Seoul, and I used a company called Trazy and did a hanbok rental and photo shoot. You get an hour photo shoot and an hour to enjoy the costume afterwards. Something to keep in mind is that it's not the easiest thing to walk in one of the hanbok. Make sure that the length is a bit shorter than your ankles so that you have less of a chance of tripping, and the shoes that you get to walk in aren't super comfortable, and you will be on cobblestone streets.
Live hard with belief. When he gave the name, during the Korean War, it was destroyed. 1979년 8월에 그대로 재현한 것입니다. 지금
As you can see, I had a really great time here. I went for the really fun, silly photo shoots. I didn't realize the first time that it videos you making your photo shoot. So when I figured that out, obviously I had to do a second photo shoot and had even more fun. Well, that of course depends on how much time you have. I would say, please put Jeju Island on your list of places to go when you come to South Korea. It is a mere 1 hour flight from both Seoul and Busan, and it's actually less expensive than the main part of South Korea, and very beautiful. There's more nature. You have all the Jeju green tea. It was magical, so I highly recommend putting that on your itinerary. I got to Seoul and Busan, and there's so much to do. You can be here for weeks and not have enough time to see everything. Seoul is more about these beautiful palaces and wearing the hanbok and experiencing amazing food. Busan it's kind of like a city within, it's actually multiple cities within one city. It seemed like there's very diverse things to do. It has a big waterfront, so you can see both the sea and land. There's nature. There are fun things to do there as well, kind of theme park oriented. So another great place. And right near Busan is, I think it's called Gyeongju. I'm horrible with Korean names. That's another wonderful place to see. And on the note of horribly mispronouncing everything in Korean, So there are a lot of places and people that do not speak English, so that can be a bit difficult. You definitely will need Google Translate, especially for menus, or Papago. So make sure you either have a good cell plan to come over here or get a local SIM card, and which is what I did. And don't always rely on Wi-Fi because you're going to need Google Translate a lot. And I tried to learn some Korean. I found it quite difficult. It is supposed to. I would have liked to study it. I didn't find an easy way or a free program or app or something that I could have studied with. I did pick up a few words because you just have to. Annyeonghaseyo is sort of hello and goodbye. Juseyo is please. So there's a few words that you're going to want to take with you when you come here because they will come in really handy to sort of bridge the gap in communication that you will experience here. So my final thoughts on Korea. Should you come? Yes, absolutely. When should you come? That kind of depends on weather that you like, because they do have the seasons like we do in the Northeast in America. And also if you want to see the cherry blossoms, and that can be touch and go. I actually landed on, I think it was April 8th, and I landed into a storm that apparently is the one that blew all the cherry blossoms away. So overall, South Korea is a fascinating place. It's also, of course, you learn. I found it, as always, I was not very good at history in school, and so coming to the locations and learning more about the histories and the why people are the way they are, and the politics and all of that, fascinating. Coming here and understanding more about the Japanese and the Chinese influences, and even today with what's happening in politics and where it's rooted, and the North Korea, the South Korea, the communism, the liberalism. It's just fascinating. So I definitely recommend coming to South Korea, putting it on your itinerary, and feel free to reach out if you need any suggestions of places to go, and look out on my blog for some future posts about my time in South Korea, where I stayed and what I got up to. Thanks for watching.